Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the college search process and how you can begin your own journey college searching, along with how to decide how many schools to apply to, and then ultimately deciding on which school to go to. So, to start the process, the first step is self reflection. Whether it's yourself or helping another student, it's really important to look at three different things. The first is values and interests. You want to think about what truly matters to the student and what subjects or after school activities do the students find really engaging. Second, you want to be looking into future goals. So, what kind of career does the student envision? Or what kind of life do they want to live? Is there a particular location they want to live, whether it be north, south, east, or west, or do they want to go abroad? Finally, identifying strengths and weaknesses can also be key in the self reflection process. Thinking about what is a student good at, both in and out of school, such as maybe public speaking or researching, and then what areas does the student want to improve on? After you take some time to do self reflection, then it's time to truly begin the search. There are a couple of things that you want to consider when you're looking into different universities, given how the US alone has thousands of colleges that students can attend. We want to think about first the major. So, from the self reflection, what schools are the best for what the student wants to study? Are there any special programs or pathways that certain universities offer, whether it be tracks for medical school, vet school, maybe business internship connections, or maybe internship opportunities? This also ties in with not only internships, but also research opportunities with maybe professors or certain hospitals or certain levels of academia that students really want to get involved in. Next, you want to look at the qualities of these universities. Think about the size. Does a student want a small university, a medium, a large university? These are all really important questions depending on what type of environment a student typically likes to learn in. Do they prefer more one on one attention with the professor or a 400-person lecture hall class? Along with location, depending on if a student envisions themselves more in a sunny campus, given like Florida or California, or wants to put up with the snow that the North typically faces. Curriculum is equally as important, given how it goes along not only with a major, but with the opportunities and what the student can explore. Talking about exploration, courses is one of the other great tools in which students can actually go into their different colleges' websites and look at the classes offered and see which ones are interesting and which ones maybe have unique classes that you can't find anywhere else. Campus culture is also important when you want to research because not everyone is going to fit in every college campus. So, being able to understand what traditions a certain campus holds or how students typically live is important when doing the search. Finally, looking at things like financial aid opportunities, whether it be they give full rides, meet full need, or even the types of facilities that universities offer, such as maybe special labs or state of the art sports arenas. It all depends on the student. Looking at public versus private schools is also really important in establishing what the student wants, where they want to go to. A public university is quite different from private universities, given that some are more government funded, while others rely heavily on donors. Seeing how maybe different research opportunities are funded by different people and different resources. Finally, just like people, colleges also have strengths and weaknesses, specifically in the ranking. Though it's not very important to pay attention to the ranking, it can definitely give you an idea on what the specific school's forte is or their weakness. Finally, immersion is probably one of the most fun areas of the whole search process. It's a chance for the student to either go on campus tours if they're close to the school or want to take a little trip, or immerse in online tours. This is a great opportunity for them not only to get to know the campus culture, but also get familiar with what could be their potential future school. Information sessions are also a great opportunity for students to connect along with college fairs. Not only do high schools offer these opportunities across the counties, but many colleges do information sessions during the admission cycle in which students can just attend after school. Connecting with college representatives to learn more about specific programs and admissions is also a great way to ask specific questions that you may not necessarily find on the website and get to know the school a little bit better. With all of these, the college websites will be the most accessible and easiest place to find the information at first glance. Whether it's if you want to learn about certain things on campus, the faculty that teaches there, or their different academic programs. Clearly, there's a lot to uncover and a lot to learn. So here are some tools to begin the search of all of these different factors. The first is U Science, which focuses more on the self reflection aspect of the college search. It's best for getting to know your interests and preferences and seeing what a student's forte typically is. Coursava is another great tool that asks questions to help students discover their preferences and on a deeper level. So it's easier for students to find their best college fit. College Express is a really cool tool that's AI powered for the college search. It makes finding the right school not only faster, easier, but more personalized. Students can simply put what they're looking for and what type of student they are, and the AI powered college search looks exactly for schools that match the criteria that the student input. College Board is also another great site to go up and use. While students are already familiar with the College Board, seeing how this is who administers the SAT or AP exams, they also have a page called Big Future, and it allows students to check out different careers, find colleges based on what's important to them, and discover ways to afford college. Campusreal.org is a great website if students want a little bit more of behind the scenes of what life on campus is really like. There are student-led tours by current students in selfie mode, so it feels more personalized, and you can hear the real truth about what's happening on their college campus. Finally, College Scored is a great website to go on and look and compare colleges using different features and filters, such as their location, or you can also look at their annual cost and degree type. For all of this, you're going to have a ton of information, and it's important to stay organized. You want to make sure that you're taking notes throughout the entire process. So document your thoughts and reflections throughout the college search process, whether it be in a notebook or an online document like Google Docs. A spreadsheet is also going to be imperative in order to help track college applications, seeing what's needed, what's already obtained, deadlines, and test scores that schools require. You want to make sure you also divide the number of schools in which a student is applying to. This means that you want to figure out what schools are going to be reach, target, and safety schools for the student. We want to aim to make sure students create a college list with 9 to 10 schools. In the next slide, we'll be going over what reach, target, and safety means. But for the time being, the final step in organization is setting reminders. You don't want to miss any important deadlines for applications, test registrations, or even financial aid forms, as that can really determine the chances of a student getting into a school. So to dive deeper on the question of how many colleges do students apply to, we want to look at the words reach, target, and safety. We want to aim for 3 in each category. There are kind of 2 different ways in which you can take an approach to deciding what schools fall under which category. The first is you want to start comparing the individual statistics of a student, so their GPA or their SAT scores, with the class profile of the college, which you can find on the college website of a specific college they're researching. If the student statistic falls between the 50%, then that school is considered a target school. If their statistics are way below the average, it will be a reach school. But if it falls way above the average, that is considered a safety school. You can also calculate the probabilities of getting into a school in order to see which category they'd fall in using what we call the Seguro calculation. This will then get used to decide which schools go into which category. If you're curious to learn more about the Seguro calculation, there's another video in which you will learn exactly how to do that specific calculation. It's important to understand that the overall student profile encompasses many different things. It not only looks at the general acceptance rate of certain schools, but it also considers the GPA of the student, how strong their personal statement or supplemental essays are, personal letters of recommendations, their SAT or ACT scores, and extracurriculars in which the student was involved in. All of these play a really important role in the overall statistics of a student. So this means that not every student will be applying to a highly selective school with a 2 or 5 or even 10% acceptance rate. For some students, what is considered their reach school may be a school that has a 40% acceptance rate instead of a 5% acceptance rate. But because that student's individual statistics fall below that 40% acceptance rate school, then for them, that would be a reach. All right. So after that high level overview and applications have been submitted, it's time to make the decision once you get the acceptance letters. There are a couple of things that you want to consider when looking at where the student should ultimately go to college. First is financial aid, probably one of the most important aspects of this category, as you want to think about how much will the school cost? Will will the student be going on a full ride? Have they been giving a great financial aid package? But we want to be careful to make sure if loans will be required, as loans add up over time. It's also important to consider what scholarships are available, not only specific college scholarships that are given or local community foundation scholarships, but overall scholarships that student has more control over, such as the Bright Futures program here in Florida that allows for tuition to be paid for, given a student meets a certain criteria. All of these things will ultimately influence how much a student has to pay, if any, to attend a school, and is a big factor in the decision aspect. Finally, you want to make sure you do the list, the big pros and cons list. It's time to think back to when the student was researching about their schools and self reflections and go over it one more time, thinking about which schools which the student has now been accepted to has the stronger major program. Maybe others have unique opportunities that the others don't have, whether it be internships, research opportunity. How far from home is a student willing to go? Maybe during the time of application, they wanted to apply to a couple out of state, but at the time of making the decision, being closer to home matters more. Or maybe they don't mind hopping on a plane. You also want to think about maybe smaller factors like weather. Do they want to be in a sunny place or in a cold place? Thinking again about campus size, maybe the faculty, if they got a chance to connect with a professor or maybe a specific class that they really want to take. These are all things that can be written down in the pro and cons list. And of course, the curriculum. Whether a student wants to go to a liberal arts school or just a normal school, these are all important factors to consider in what's best for the student. Finally, the experience is a great chance in order to really influence a student's decision. Students are encouraged to attend the Welcome Weekend events and connect at admitted student events virtually if they can't attend the Welcome Weekends. It's a great opportunity for students to feel the culture and ask questions to not only students, but admission reps. Hopefully, with all of these, the decision ultimately comes clear of where the student ends up going. I hope you learned a little bit more about the whole college search process, how to create the list, and ultimately how to decide. Although this is a high level video of the whole process, it definitely takes quite a while to get through all of these steps. It's a month-long process, but ultimately, all the hard work of research, deciding what schools, and receiving the acceptance letters pays off. Good luck!